Hello guys, this is Madhu Chalian. Welcome back to this blockchain tutorial series using Hyperledger Fabric. In the last session, we have created crypto materials for peers belongs to each organizations and orderer. I am getting many queries related to the integration of different components involved in the Hyperledger Fabric blockchain. Because there are learning materials available for individual components, like here Hyperledger Fabric. So how to create, how to develop Hyperledger Fabric solution. There are so many learning materials available for each. You can see that Node.js in their official website itself, they are providing ample of examples and use cases are there, but the developers are facing challenges when they are integrating the different components. So what I am planning to do is I will have a high level walkthrough of each component's development and for more focusing on the integration part. So without any further ado, let me open Visual Studio. Okay, so in this solution I have built Hyperledger Fabric platform and Node.js server API. These two components have been built inside this solution. After creating that crypto materials, here I have ran this script to create the crypto materials. So it is inside that, all the crypto materials are inside this folder. The next step is creating and deploying the chain code. So for that, the high level steps involved in setting up a blockchain network are: first, you have to generate orderer system channel Genesis block, then bring CA service Docker up and running, then bring the peer and orderer nodes up and running using the Docker compose file, then create the channel and join the peers of all the organizations, then deploy the chain code. These are the high level steps. In this network setup sh script file, I have logically separated each step so that you will get a clear idea, and will be running each step sequentially, and we'll see the output of each steps. So the steps involved are create consortium. These are all the functions I have written: CS service setup, network, and after that create channel, deploy chain code. So these are all the steps sequentially we have to run to build the chain code and deploy on the network. So let's go through each functions. Create a consortium. This function, the create consortium, this function, okay, yeah, this will generate orderer system channel Genesis block. So here we are calling this config txgen command. This allows users to create channel configuration related artifacts. Here we are passing the parameters for orderer Genesis, and you can find that in the config file here in this config tx.yaml. Here we are specifying, we are passing these as parameters, and that command will take these organization names and orderer, and then will create a system channel Genesis block. Here this config text gen, this command is available when you download and set up the Hyperledger Fabric in your system. So that will be there. Let me open that bin folder. When you download and set up in your system, you can see a bin folder. Inside that there are many binaries available. I think we already have discussed about this in the previous session. Here config txgen. So this command we are using to create this system channel Genesis block and passing these parameters. here the output path we have given us a system genesis block. Here inside system genesis block, the genesis dot block will be created. That file will be created inside this folder. I already have run this script, so it's already got created. Next step is CA service up, and here CA service up. This is to bring the CA service certificate authority service Docker up and running. So we have to call this a Docker file, Docker compose. Here the Docker compose file, we are calling this utility Docker compose and passing the file name. The file compose file CA that is declared here inside the Docker folder, Docker compose CA. So this is the certificate authority compose. Each organization should have this certificate authority, and we have specified all this CA for each organization, and in this to run as a Docker. And the port we have specified here. When you run this, it will be all the CA services are running as a Docker. Then next step is network up. So here in this function we are calling the script. Sorry, this is create channel, the network up. Yeah, this one. Here we are calling two Docker compose files. One is this network, and other is for the CouchDB database and the network file. In the network Docker compose net.yaml, we have specified all the peer nodes, and that will be running as a Docker. This service will be available on the specified ports for each organization. So there will be the peers. We have set up the peer for lab here. These are all the services available when you run this Docker compose file. Peer 0 for hospital, for each organization, that peer 0, that we will be setting as an anchor peer. And next step is, so after that, once the network is up and running, then we have to create a channel. So creating the channel, there are many steps involved in creating the channel, and here it will be creating the channel and join all the peers of the organizations. So this function I have written inside this create channel, and inside this script folder, and create channel, this script file. So the steps involved in this creating the channel are, the first is create channel tx. The tx.txt file will be created, and then create the anchor peer tx and create channel, then join all the peers to the channel, then set the anchor peer for each organization in the channel. These are the high level steps involved in this creating the channel. So here the create channel tx, create anchor peer tx, create channel, and here all we are calling that command which is available in this bin folder to create for each steps. Here you can see that config text gen, and peer we are calling peer. In this bin folder, all the utilities, all the commands are available, so we have to invoke those commands passing the arguments. Join the channel and update anchor peers, then verify the result. Next step is after creating the channel, then we will deploy the chain code. Deploy chain code, there is another script file. Inside that script folder, deploy cc. So here the steps: first, package the chain code, install the chain code on peer 0 of all organizations, and query whether the chain code is installed, then approve the definition for each organization, approve for lab, approve for pharmacy, and then we'll check the commit readiness, then commit the chain code for each organization. Then query the chain code to see whether it's committed successfully or not. These are all the steps involved in building and deploying the chain code on a network. So let's run the script. Either you can use the terminal from here, or just you can open a new terminal outside of this Visual Studio. Let's check any Docker is running or not. Nothing. There is no Docker service is running. Now we have to call this network setup up. The first command, passing this up parameter. It is creating the network Docker health NW1 with a default driver. Creating the CouchDB, and all the peer nodes will be running as a Docker service. So these are all the Docker service. These are the Docker services running for each peer node, orderer, and CouchDB. I'm opening a new terminal, so there it will be more clear. You can see that clearly. These are the peer nodes and CouchDB, orderer, and CS certificate authorities for each organization and orderer. Next step is create the channel. I will run that on this new terminal. Create channel. It is generating the Genesis block. Now the channel, patient's info channel, is created. Anchor PS updated for organization, hospital MSP on channel. This is the channel name, and the same steps repeat for all the organizations. The channel creation is completed. Now we have to deploy the chain code. Now the next step is deploy cc. This will take some time. First it is creating that package. It is that chain code package. It is creating fab healthcare.tar.gz is the zip file it is creating, and then that will be deployed on the organizations. So first it is the chain code is installing on the Pier 0 hospital. The chain code is installing on each organization. Now chain code has been installed on the all Pier 0 of all organizations. Now query installed is successful for each peer node. It will query to check whether the installation was successful or not. So now the chain code approval, chain code definition approved for a hospital. The chain code should be approved for all organizations. Now chain code definition approved for the insurance provider. Now chain code definition committed on channel. So we have that the channel name is patients info channel. So that has been, the chain code definition has been committed to that channel after all the approval. So now it is completed, the deployment has been completed, and then query whether it is successful or not. Now we have successfully deployed the chain code. Now we can check the chain code is running or not. You can see that there are 4 more Docker services are running, and these are all corresponding to the chain code running on each organizations. So now we have successfully completed building and deploying the chain code on each organizations. I will quickly go through the content of chain code which we have built and deployed. Here in chain code asset transfer, this is the chain code. Inside that patient info. The chain code has been written in JavaScript. First is initialize ledger. So to initialize the ledger, I have created some patient info. There are 4 patients I have created. I am creating while initializing the chain code. So this code will be inserted into that blockchain when I am deploying and initializing the chain code. Add patient. So we can add a new patient by calling this put state, this method, and passing the parameters. Next is then add get patients to return the records, all the records. Then I am using that add report. So this add report, this is some fields are private and some fields are public. So all the organization, like there is a configuration file where we can set the private data. Those fields will not be available for the restricted use organizations. So I will show you that how it is, how we are doing that, and how the restriction is happening, and for the end user how it is working. So these are the functions which I am using in this project. We can there is a create user function, and this is to create a new users. This is the chain code we have deployed into our network.